Hello everybody, welcome into the Hobby Bar. This is Jason, and welcome. Today we'll be continuing this Bloodwrack Viper we've been working on. Kind of want to get the two halves attached, so this part on the bay, and start working on the base here. Working on these two jelly bean bits, if you will. Get that dirt done. If you do any hobby, feel free to jump in and join along. If not, that's cool too. Hope you get whatever you're working on done. And yeah, but first, we gotta get our glue ready. So here we are getting the plastic glue on. I did spend a little bit of dry fitting just to try to get everything lined up, and yeah, it was kind of a pain. Just every time I tried dry fitting this, it seemed like it fit differently, because connecting the upper half and the bottom half together, like, it makes sense on the joint, and then you look at the side and the blood isn't quite connecting right. Like, it's really weird. I just could not for the life of me get it to work. And then on this first attempt, I guess there was paint in the way or something, the contact points weren't quite sitting right. So even though I put glue on the one side, it doesn't really stick very well together for whatever reason. But yeah. At least we finally got the two halves together so the snake can sit on its own without having to be propped up with the little helping arm from the assembler bit. But yeah, we'll go ahead and put this glue here on the other side, and I figured I'd glue them up at this point because for the most part, I feel like it's good to go. Granted, I'm gonna get blood all over the place, but it's a magical blood snake, so I figure that's okay if blood gets everywhere when I go in and try to fix up the red, so might as well just glue it up. This way it'll be easier to maneuver and handle, and it's not in as many pieces. Kind of am feeling a little bit off this week, so that's why not really too long of a video, and if I sound a little hoarse or different for voice-wise, that's why. Kind of been feeling a bit funky. Anyway, finish laying this set, and I'll catch up with y'all here in a bit for when we start painting. Alrighty, here we are moving on to Rhinox Hide from Citadel. It's one of their base paints. I wanted to use this for this dirt instead of the usual dryad bark that I use for underneath the crackle paint, because this is just meant to be sort of a dirt color, a rocky granular dirt kind of thing, so I wanted it to have a little bit of red in there. Plus it's next to some bright red, so you kind of can't really tell that there's red in it very well. It just looks brown. When we get dryad bark down on the base, eventually, it'll probably be more noticeable. But I wanted to use this color because I kind of cut it out of the video, but I picked up some basing material. One of them's a orangish sort of dirt with some rocky bits in there, and the other is a dark brown sort of dirt. One they call, the orangish one's called Rocky Canyon, and the other one's Arid Earth, the brown one. So I kind of wanted this rocky area around the pool to kind of match the Arid Earth, since I might use some of that around on the base. And then I wanted to pick up Rocky Canyon because that kind of goes more with the crackle paint that I tend to use anyway, the Grellian Earth. I figure since that's more yellowish, the orangishness of the Rocky Canyon can kind of go with that a bit better. And then using them both together can, that'll help sell the effect for the basing material stuff. But got these from Rival Crafts. It's a UK-based company, though I'm not in the UK. Ordered from them because heard about them on a stream on Twitch. Decided to give them a shot. We'll see how that goes later on. But yeah. Again, cut that part out of the video, but we'll get to that when we get to finalizing the base, because this stuff I'll probably put on probably after painting the base, or, well, before. I'll need to figure out where I want it before putting on the Grelin Earth, probably. I'm not sure. We'll figure it out and play around. It'll be fun. Anyway, I usually don't do scatter stuff, so that'll be a fun experiment later. But anyway, yeah, we're going around on the dirt parts around the blood pools here with some Rhinox Hide still. And yeah, gonna be fairly simple. I did throw a drop of medium in it just to make sure it flows a bit better. Try to get it into the recesses a bit, and just make sure it's in a couple thin, even coats. So, there's that. But, yeah, we'll go ahead and finish this process, and I'll catch up with you all here in a little bit for the next color. Alrighty, here we are bringing in some Cephalopod Studios White Knight. Figured I'd bring in the basically bright white color here, just to start highlighting up the teeth and make them stand out a bit more from the iron rack skin that we used to give them that sort of yellowish appearance for kind of older teeth. but kind of wanted to brighten it up with this stuff, and because Cephalopod Studios paints, like I've said a million times, tend to be on the thinner side, it'll be fine putting this bright white over them. Help them stand out a bit more, and without just making them white, as if I took like Korax white or something from Citadel and just threw it over it. But yeah, nothing too fancy here to talk about, so catch up with y'all here in a bit for the next paint. Speaking of next paint, we're on to Cephalopod Studios Crawdaddy Red. I wanted to bust this out real quick, just because I noticed the eyes. I wanted to sort of start the process of brightening them up, and then touch in some of the areas on the inside of the mouth, and get the flaps of skin going down the sides of the mouth. Get those starting to brighten up a little bit with this color. It's just fun to say Crawdaddy Red. I don't know why. But yeah, we'll be bringing back this color so we can get a second layer on those eyes much later. But first, we gotta come in with Mechanicus Standard Gray again. And for this, we're gonna be putting it on all the rocks around these little blood beans, whatever you want to call them. The blood pits for the Bloodwrack Viper here. But yeah. Just need to rebase coat these a gray. What I want to do is kind of try to build these rocks towards the color of rocks in the scatter that I got from Rival Crafts, the Rocky Canyon one, which has sort of, I want to say kind of yellowish orangish rocks instead of like this sort of, I guess you could say concrete-ish sandstone-ish appearance of the that I tend to do for like the snakes and I did for the Vanguard Raptors before. So that's why I'm using slightly different colors eventually on them, but I still want to base coat them gray, I feel, because gray tends to be a nice neutral tone for these kinds of things instead of it being a bright white or a dark black underneath. For a base coat, I feel like the gray will suit it better in the end, just because more things tend to be in the gray range. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and hit all of these rocks on both halves of the bases with the Mechanicus Standard Gray, and then we'll go from there with the next color. So I'll catch up with y'all here in a little bit. Alrighty, here we are back with Crawdaddy Red again, like I mentioned earlier. Just need to get it here in the eyes, and yeah, just hitting both eyes real quick with it. Then we're busting out some Citadel Ungor Flesh. Sort of a yellowish fleshy color. And I figured, why not start with this for the rocks here. just because the rocks are gonna try to be more on the yellowish brownish side, so I figured, maybe this will work well over the gray. And pretty happy with how it turned out just after this. I need to figure out how to shade or mute some of the colors and stuff. The video is kind of gonna be muted for a bit because there's a dog barking around, so yeah, gonna have to mute the audio for a little bit while that's going on. And then, yeah, get through the rest of this color, and then, yeah, how much else that I did today? It's kind of a shorter day, again, wasn't really at 100%, still kind of am not, but it's all good. Just continue working and continue getting this thing towards completion, at least. Anyway, with that, go ahead and let the rest of this play out for the progress, and I'll see you all in a little bit for the spin and the last call. Alrighty, last call everybody, last call. So, here's a snake. It can finally sit on its own because it's glued up. The rocks are kind of pale yellowish and need to build up the color depth there. I think I'll go over them with a brown wash next time and see how that knocks them down. And maybe use some other colors on it. Maybe Talarn sand before you go into this color, because I feel like this is the highlight color I want to reach eventually. Not really the mid-tone color. But anyway, that about does it for this week. Again, slightly shorter episode than what it's been the last few times because I haven't really been at 100% for this week. So, yeah, I couldn't really just sit down and knock out like 2 hours of work and do this share with y'all. But, yeah, it is what it is. At least we got to glue it up and get it so it doesn't have to be held up all the time. And started work on more of the base. Continue working towards completion. This is a long one, and it can be tiring seeing the same colors and working with the same colors, but just gotta soldier through it. Keep pushing. Keep getting it done. And it'll be fine. You can always work on something else off camera or do something else to break up the monotony. Anyway, that though, hope you all had a good one. Hope you got some stuff done. And, catch up with y'all here next time. So, have a good one everyone. Take care out there.